You really need to look at connectivity holistically. You know, I started off this morning by saying, hey, you know, Wi-Fi not really fit for purpose from an operational standpoint, but important to the customers. Distributed antenna systems or the mobile network operators, sure, you know, something that is very useful, has been and will continue to be. And then private wireless. I do want to draw one important distinction that hasn't come up at all today. And that is that Wi-Fi is unlicensed spectrum. Okay, it's completely open, it's completely unlicensed spectrum. The FCC slapped down airports, quite honestly, it hurt a lot, in 2006 and said, you're trying to control this unlicensed spectrum, what don't you understand about unlicensed spectrum? So we asked them on a call, Norman and I were on a call with the FCC, a whole group of them, and we said, okay, there was this 2006 ruling that said we couldn't control Wi-Fi, we couldn't in any way determine where or who or what could be put in place. And actually one of the attorneys on the phone said, oh, I remember that, and pulled it up and said, yeah, you're right. And we said, okay, so now we want to ask about private wireless spectrum. How do you view that, even at its lowest level, that GAA band, right, that generally authorized band? How do you view that? Are you going to come back to us airports and tell us the same thing? Wait a second, you can't control that. And they said, oh, no, this is totally different. This is licensed spectrum. You can call it lightly licensed, you can call it whatever you want, but we view this as licensed spectrum. I said, okay, so the other thing you told us in 2006 was that we couldn't contractually control it for all of our tenants. We couldn't tell our tenants, you have to ask us. So if you're saying this is licensed spectrum, can we control it contractually across our entire stakeholder organization? The FCC said yes. Not tried in court yet, but yes, from our standpoint, it's licensed spectrum, and you have much more control over that spectrum. So, I mean, getting back to, you know, Mike Young's statement from DFW, wanting to be in control, you can control that, and you can control that across the entire stakeholder environment. And the point I would make is that it's not control because you want to be king, it's control for the benefit of all of the stakeholders. Because if all of those different stakeholders were to start popping up their own flavor, their own version for their own deployments, then that connectivity would be compromised to some degree or other, right? Could certainly be. So, you know, I think it really makes sense to have one entity in the environment that's looking over the entire environment and making those decisions, making those deployments, meeting and collaborating with the stakeholders in the process, not just doing it off the top of their head, but meeting and collaborating with the stakeholders to make an implementation, to put something in place that meets the needs of the entire ecosystem.